So again, good morning. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the sixth instruction session of Business Tech Masterclass. So today is our last session, which means we're going to bring in together everything we have talked about so far. We're going to talk about the design, the overall viewpoint of the screen, like testing your website across different platforms. We're going to talk about basically, we did talk about SEO auditing last session. That was a very in-depth discussion that we had. We're also going to have a quick talk about basically the links, how the functionality of your website, the speed of your website, and everything else that people usually don't even want to touch with a stick because it sounds too technical and difficult. But just like everything else that we've discussed, we're just going to take a look at it and see how easy it is actually to keep track of our own business, just to see how to control it and how to improve it. So let us get started. Now, the first, I would like to start this with confession. I'm going to ask you for a confession. Number one, have you ever been happy with any of your websites? My own answer, no, never. Have you? Have you been happy, like 100% happy with any of your websites?
I think it's hard to reach 100% happy with a lot of things.
Exactly, especially relationships, right?
Um,
Yeah, I know.
I was happy for a while, and then after a while, it's like, oh,
No,
I need to change my website.
especially when it comes to website, it's such a, you see, it's never enough. And here is the reason. Unlike what people, our perception is, a website is one entity. A website is actually a canvas full of 10 million different things. So to keep it, just like Caesar said, you can never really reach 100%. So being an idealist would actually hurt. And that's the problem. Most of us are idealists when it comes to our websites. So no, we can never reach 100%, but we can get close to 100% performance and optimization as much as possible. So in terms of content, which is one huge sector of a website, we talked about last session that we need to know who our target is, do a proper research for the keywords that we're selecting, do a complete SEO campaign for ourselves, which is not really difficult. If you remember, all you need to do is just to have a keen eye and finding what are the keywords, what are the ideas that people search for to find your product or service, and then go based on that. Now, today, the first thing is pretty much that everyone's pain in the neck, which is website speed. Now, based on the recent study, I should want to say recent, it was 2018. More than, do you remember when we talked about bounce rate, meaning that, what percentage of people bounce away or navigate away from your website before reading all of the content? Now, if you remember, we discussed that bounce rate, if you have anything less than 60%, you're good. So if 50% of people who land on your web page navigate away, then you're actually doing a very good job. Even 60%, you're okay. 70%, that's not really efficient. Now, this is the statistics that came out in 2018. More than 90% of people bounce away, navigate away from a website as soon as the waiting time for the website loading becomes longer than 3 seconds. Now, obviously, country to country, that varies. Like if you are from, let's say, Iran, now I don't know, Caesar, you're the youngest here, so I'm sorry I'm picking on you, but what is the oldest technology for internet connection that you remember? Like, do you remember, have you seen ADSL?
I had dial-up for a time.
Had dial-up. Okay, good. Now, do you remember what speed you were getting on your dial-up?
Oh man. It wasn't as fast as it was today for sure.
Yeah, of course. Like today, like let's say my connection, and it's not the fastest connection out there, but this is enough for me as a web developer. I don't need anything more than this. I'm using 300 megabit per second. Okay. My speed on dial-up was 25 kilobits per second.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so if you wanted to open, let's say, load Facebook, you would have to still go facebook.com. You could go take a walk, pour some tea for yourself, take a shower, come back. Oh, it loaded. So it was that slow. Now, imagine you're creating a website in a country like Iran of that time. So my question is, do you think the website that you have right now would even load back then? No. So what does that tell us? What if I have clients in Central America where internet connection is not that good? What if I have clients in, I don't know, uh, Middle East or close to Middle East if when the connection is not. What if I have actually clients here who go and get internet from, yeah, it's the last session I can say it, from crappy ISPs like on a Surf or other things, 2 megabit per second, and if you get 2 megabits per second, or what we basically call shared ISPs. So what if our client tries to reach our website from there or from their mobile device when they're not really full on signal? What's going to happen? This is the first thing we're going to discuss: website speed. Let's take a look at that. Now, you see, 90% is not a number that we can live with. If 90% of people bounce away, if it's more than 3 seconds, it means that the first, number one priority for checking our website is speed. So let's take a look at that. There are a couple of tools that you can actually use to check your speed. So like we said, the optimal timing is 3 seconds. If it's less than 3 seconds, good job. If it's over 3 seconds, it really depends how far over. Now, I want to start with a more basic one. Pingdom. I think we have used this tool once before when we were talking about DNS. So if you go and watch, I believe, session 1 or 2 video, you will see that we actually use this. Now, there are a lot of free tools like Pingdom or like, let me give you this other example, GTmetrix, which is a more detailed one that allow you to test your website from different locations. Now, for just to show you, to demonstrate this, I'm going to be using tools.pingdom.com. So basically, I have shared the link here in the PowerPoint file. But what it means is that what you should think is, where do most of my clients try to reach my website from? This also answers our question, where should my hosting service be, which we discussed in session 1. If you live in Canada, but pretty much all of your clients are in Saudi Arabia, then getting a server in the United States is like shooting yourself in the leg. No, you should get a server in Saudi Arabia, because it's not important how fast the website loads for you. It's important how fast the website loads for your clients. So let's take a look at that. Let's say most of my clients are on the West Coast of the United States. So I can go with San Francisco, for instance. Okay. So if I have a lot of people in California, that would be a very good idea. You can go ahead and enter your website here. So let's go with my website for now and click Start Test. Now, just like Caesar said, you can never reach 100%. Why is that? These tools test your website for many different elements, as you can see down here, for DNS, for your SSL connection, so on, sending, receiving, waiting time, server response, and many other things. But in the end, put together sort of an average experience that people from San Francisco would have. Well, if somebody tries to reach my website anywhere in California, they're going to see my website within 1.49 seconds. I have to say that is still a high page size. So we want the page to be smaller in terms of content size. So we will talk about that. But still, it gave me a good score. Yeah, it's not A, but it's still 89. Yeah. Considering that I'm using a rather slow shared hosting for this website, I'm happy with that. 1.49 seconds, right on. Does it make sense? So what sort of information do these give us? We're going to talk about that. I gave you these 2 tools because these are the best free tools out there. Are there paid tools as well? Oh yes, my friends. Google itself also provides it, but the free version of Google, it doesn't cut it. You need to pay for Google Webmaster premium version and buy that. That will give you a detailed breakdown of your website speed, but who wants to spend money on that, right? So let's do the same example here just to show you what's the difference between the two. Number one, GTmetrix tests your website from your own location, not from your client location. So that's why I actually, even though GTmetrix results are more detailed, way more detailed than Pingdom, I use Pingdom for a basic understanding of, am I doing well or not? Now let's take a look and talk about each one of these one at a time. All right, again, I got this here. It says my loading time is 5.6 seconds. So that's not good. I will tell you how we can test that together, but we will get it. Now, what the hell is this? Oh my God. Yeah, it's good. I think it's green. Yeah. So I think I've done a good job. But then the question is, what the hell is this one? Optimize images. What does it mean? Defer parsing on JavaScript. Do I even need to know this, Sherlock? Just a tiny bit. Let's take a look at that. There are a lot of things that you both these websites give you as a report on of the analysis they've done on your website. And the first thing they usually talk about is compression. The concept is quite simple. You know what zip means on your computer? You use that zipping, right? At least I don't know. I don't actually know. Does Apple support zip files?
You got me there. I have no clue.
Yeah, okay, I got no clue either. I thought maybe, okay, anyway. So the zip file is basically like a folder which is compressed. Think of it this way. If you have a sponge, it's still this large, but if you press it, do you still have the same sponge? Yeah, you have the same sponge, but you got rid of the excess space inside it. So that's what zipping does. It doesn't make files smaller necessarily. It cleans up the empty space and puts everything next to each other. Now, we use the same function on websites. Because again, a website is like your own computer. You have files, you have an operating system. Make sense? If you don't, to save space, to make your computer work faster, you can clean up your desktop. You can clean up your hard drive just to make sure everything works better. You get rid of the excess, you defragment your website for your hard drive, for example. The feature that we use here is called gzip. Gzip is a software that is installed on most servers, Linux servers, but those are the servers that we use. And even cloud-based nowadays, like in the last 2 or 3 months, there is this and same version of gzip on cloud-based servers as well. So if you're using AWS, Amazon server, or Google server, you can still expect a good and fast response time because there is gzip. Now, all right, Sherlock, so good job. You told me what gzip is. What am I supposed to do with it? Actually, nothing. Do a quick test on your website. If your website is already, if you don't see anything in regards to using gzip or using compression, or you have it and it says, no, you have done a good job, then you're good. But if you're getting the, let's say, if you're getting like an error here that says, oh, compression issues or gzip issues, then you need to activate gzip. That means gzip is not activated on your server by default. You have 2 options. Number 1, call your web designer. Say, hey, I don't have the login to any of these things. Can you go ahead and do that for me? Done. Now, if you have access to your web designer, I'm going to just bring this here. That would be easier. Go ahead and ask them. If not, if you don't have access to someone, if they've built your website, delivered it to you, and they're done and gone, pick up the phone, call your hosting service and hosting company and say, hey, I'm your client. My name is Sherlock. I'm the handsome one. Client number 1234556. Can you please go ahead and activate gzip on my server? That's it. You don't need to do anything else. Automatically, next time we will get to caching. When you cache your website will get 3 times as fast as it used to be. So make sure that is the first thing you need to check for. After you tested your website, do you see anything about compression? Do I need to compress my website anymore? Now, the good thing here, I'm looking at mine, and no, I don't have any that sort of error here. So thumbs up. The second thing is image optimization. Now, that is something I can personally improve on my website, sketchbros.com. Let's take a look at it. If you remember, when we looked at our GT metrics, one of the first things that says was optimize images. What do you mean by that? It means that at least these images that we see here is actually even telling me which image it is. So here, one of them is this image, my background image, and the header. If you actually go to my homepage, this is the background of the header. It is telling me that, hey, you're using a large image for this. You don't really need that much of a large image. Why would I need to do that? Have you ever had a computer with a full hard drive? Guys, go ahead, unmute yourself. Have you ever had a computer with a full hard drive, a hard drive that is read to the max?
Yeah, I have. I've
Um,
also had it on max disk space,
uh-huh. So
and
what happened when your disk space started to fill up?
it gets real slow.
Exactly. And guess what? Your server is a computer, right? So now this is the idea that I'm trying to convey here. Even if you can save 1 kilobyte, it's worth it. It makes your website faster. Even 1 bit, it makes your website faster, guaranteed. So one of the first things that you need to have in mind is that how much performance can I gain simply by making my images smaller or making my images lower quality as much as possible, as long as it doesn't look ugly, right? So there are two things that we can do. Number one, obviously, when you're creating the images, create smaller images. Create images of slightly lower quality. If you have used Photoshop, when you're saving an image, let's say in JPG format, it allows you to select the quality, render quality. Or even when you want to save it as PNG, it asks you, do you want a smaller file size, but lower quality, or higher file size and higher quality? So number one, whatever software you're using, make sure that you resize your images to the size that you need. What does it mean? If I go ahead and download a stock image, let's say I want to go to and download something from pixabay.com because it's very good. Oh, I have a website about coffee. Sweet. Let me download. Oh, I have a website about monkeys. I'm going to download this one. Looks like my cousin. So if I want to download this, what is the size? 1920 by 1280. It's larger than an HD size. Look at the size of this, 646 kilobytes. Now, if I want to use this as only a slide that comes in next to some other slides, the actual size that I need for this image is not 1920, it's 800 by 600 pixels. It's not this much, it's this much. Now, yes, I can import the same 1920 by 1280 image onto my website and then there make it appear smaller. But why? That only slows my website down. So number one, when you're generating content, generate content to the exact specification as you want. Even, you know what? Even if your image is actually a little smaller and your website has to stretch it to make it the size that you want, that's another technique you can use to just use less space. So far, so good, right? So this would be 464 kilobytes on the size that I needed when I converted, that this photo is going to be 40 kilobytes, 45 kilobytes, not 646 kilobytes. So that's the first thing. Now you might say, oh, but sure, like I've already uploaded my images. Like I can't just recreate everything. Is there a way I can edit them? Oh yeah, actually, if you're using a front-end builder like Wix or anything else, they automatically do this without asking you. Every time you upload an image, depending on the frame you're using it for, they optimize it. Otherwise, they would slow down really fast. So they automatically resize, reshape. They basically keep the original file that you uploaded, which was 2 megabytes. But what they are using for your website would be a smaller version and a lower quality one. So that's how they speed it up. On WordPress as well, you can do this. And now for this example, let's take a look at our test website here, 604referrals.com, which, by the way, I created a page on for you this morning, like 20 minutes or so, but it has a lot of problems, which you're going to find at the end of this class. Let's take a look at this. Sherlock, I have an image and holy Jesus moly, it's large. It's 4 megabytes. Or I don't even need it to be that much. What am I supposed to do? This looks familiar, right? That's your WordPress desktop. Perfect. Go to your media section, find that image. Not when you are editing a page, just in your WordPress. Now, let's say I have a bunch of images here. I don't know. Let's take a look at this. Well, it's 231 kilobytes. That's a lot. 1920 by 1280 pixels. That's a lot too. I don't really need it that much. I don't need it to be that big. How can I do this? If you are here, quite simple. Go ahead and click edit image. It was under the image. You have the dimensions. Enter your new dimensions on the left side. This is the width of the photo. So I don't want it to be 1920. It's too much. I want it to be 1280, and automatically it will adjust the height. Make sense? If I click scale, do you remember how much the size of the image was? 1920 by something. Now the new dimensions are set. You can actually decide which do you want this to be applied on all image sizes or only on certain versions of the image? But that doesn't matter. Don't confuse yourself over that. Even if you want to crop the image, you can do it right from here within WordPress. You don't need to go anywhere. So this is the good news. There are basic things like you can flip it horizontally. These are new. These are from the latest version. Or if you have a photo and it's like slanting one-sided, if you want to rotate it, there you go, rotate left, right, crop, all done. Just make sure after you have done this, when you change it, you have to save it and everything else. You can just click outside, move the box, click here, and it allows you to save. I'm going to cancel for now. Now, do you remember what this file size was? 291 kilobytes, right? Look at the size now. 70 kilobytes. And this is still using WordPress, which is not really an image editor. They just put it there to make our life easier. Are there other things we can use to actually optimize our images? Can we really reduce file size? Yes. There are a bunch of them actually out there. Let me leave this aside for a second. There are a couple of online tools like these websites, all three, they were actually fun to play with. And there are new websites that are coming up every day. So I do suggest you just go on Google and search, let's say, free image compressor. But just to give you an example, this is one of the websites. All you need to do, you don't need to log in or anything else. You simply go ahead and select your file. You select the quality that you want. You see like best quality, high quality, up to minimum file size and everything else. You set the new dimensions and optimize. Now you download it. Simple as that. No strings attached. Yeah, it's not really that difficult. Have you ever noticed if you import a template from your theme, if you import a template from Divi or import a template from whatever, the images that they use are, except this one, this is like a graphic work, but the images that they use, like size-wise and everything else, when you compare to that, they're rather small. This is a 1920 by 1333 pixel image with actually quite high quality still at 142 kilobytes. It's larger than the image I had uploaded, but the file size is lower. So this is how they do it. They use softwares or basically platforms such as, excuse me, I just had to close the monkey here. Okay, such as the one I just showed you. All right, going back to screen. Now, is there anything else I can use? Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at these. But what if, sure, like I've already done, I don't want to take the images off my website, and WordPress itself is still not good enough. After I resize all my images using WordPress, my website is still a little slow. And when I test it, it still tells me I'm using a lot of space for my images. What am I supposed to do? There are plugins. Like a wise man once said, when there is a will, there is a plugin, right? There you go. So here's a couple of them. They are mainly, the good ones, as usual, are paid plugins, but there are still quite a few good free plugins. In terms of the best plugin I've ever seen to do this, the second one, EU Image Optimizer. Yeah, the name is actually EU Image Optimizer. No kidding. They give you, when you sign up first, you actually have to sign up, but they give you an API key for one website up to 500 images, I think, and this one is for free. And then if you want to do more, you have to buy it. Also, WP Smush, that's actually very good too. So you can feel free to go ahead and search. At the end of this class, I will give you another plugin that is actually a very good all-rounder for optimizing your website and speeding it up. But these two, like I myself, I usually use the second one. I have not used it on my own business website yet. That's why my file sizes are quite large. But comparatively, if you remember, it told me that my page size is 5 megabytes. If I optimize it using image optimizer, this will come down to around 3 megabytes, which means my speed can come to low under 1 minute. That's amazing. Now, I'm
Hello,
going to
can I ask you
pause here for a second. Yes, go ahead. I want to say if you have questions, go ahead and ask.
So you're encouraging us to blog, right? Let's say for the first 6 months, I blog every day. For the next 6 months, I blog 2 or 3 times a week. Year two, I blog once a week. So I can imagine my blogs accumulate images. Do all those blog posts over time keep slowing the website down? Is that what happens?
Every piece of content can slow your website down.
So what do you recommend in this case? I mean, if that's the plan,
If
right? To
you're
add
a-
content.
If you have mainly text, you see, text doesn't slow down the website because
Text plus photo.
yeah, photos, videos, that sort of content slows down. Things that take
Text
time
with
to
photos, because that's how I
load,
blog. I
right?
add photos to
So
text.
the text, don't worry about it. But look at the photos. If it's been 6 months and you have posted 6 or 7 or 10 blog posts, okay, it's now been 6 months. Optimize them. That's it. Do it
Okay.
go for another 6 months, optimize it. Unless you want to add a new page, which means you are inserting, all of a sudden you're inserting a lot of images at the same time. Then yeah, once you're done at designing your page and you saved it and you published it, go and optimize it. That's it.
So
But for regular website maintenance, I personally do it on my websites every 6 months or so.
okay.
Yeah, you don't need to do
A
it.
quick question. I'm
Yeah.
a little confused. So you were looking at my old website.
Mhm.
Was each blog post a separate page? Because I know this can probably slow it down. Or will
We have talked about this. Every
Yeah.
blog post is a page. Every page
Okay.
is a page. Every project is a page.
So that really slows it down, right? So imagine if I
Yeah.
had one page.
Forget about those. Those are just tags when you call it post or page or anything.
Yeah.
This, what you see here on the media section, this
Yeah.
is the juice that slows down your website. Okay. It doesn't matter how much text you have comparatively. If you're on, again, I know you're all gonna hate me if I say ClickFunnels one more time, but if you use ClickFunnels, because ClickFunnels defines text not as text, but defines text as CSS image. I don't want to explain what it is, but it's a code that it basically translates. It's such a stupid system. When you give it text, it doesn't keep it as text. It translates it to another format and keeps it like that. Okay. So this is a very good example. It becomes a cumbersome amount of content. If you have a ClickFunnels page with, excuse my language, shitload of written content on it, it can break. Caesar, does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, it does. A little too personal for me.
Yes. No, but so you remember the argument.
Yeah, when
had-
we were making a calendar and
Yes,
we just had too
exactly.
many blocks on it.
We made how long was that? Like, guys, I'm not kidding. Like he's here. Caesar has been one of the people who worked entering. Like he worked on like over the clock, putting in content there. We told the people who own the page that this is not the right platform for it. They were like, no. We want to do it here. We definitely want to do it here. All right. So 3-4 people work around the clock to enter. I don't know how many entries. Maybe 400 entries, 500 entries onto one single ClickFunnels page, and it broke again. It broke so bad we couldn't get a backup from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really matters what platform you're using and how the content is being stored. Now for WordPress, thank God, text is just text. Okay. Images are cumbersome. Videos are very cumbersome. And there are also a few other things that WordPress does as well, which can slow down the website, which I will show you in a bit. But so far on optimizing images, are we all good? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Lise, do you
Can
have a
we do
question?
this? Yeah, can we do the same thing with videos then?
That's the question I wanted to answer. Now, you see, there are, again, if you go and search on Google, like let's say just here, video file optimization, I'm sure you will find a couple of websites that do it for you. Here, there you go. But to be very honest, there is a tool. If you are, I'm sure every platform has it. Like Apple operating system has it, Windows has it too. Like if you're a Windows 10 user, for instance, you have this very simple software called video editor. That's it. This is actually one of the best compressors I've ever seen. You can insert your video, you can trim it, you can cut it to the exact piece that you want, for instance. But even if you don't trim it, you can save it in whatever format and whatever quality that you want. And instantly it drops the file size. Let me show you an example. Like, because of my job, I have a repository of a lot of free, like royalty-free content. Let me actually show you here right now. For example, material video. All right, like videos like this. If you have watched my videos, I take Master Academy short videos. This is what I use for the intro, right? So now what if I wanted to use this on my website for a background or something because it just looks cool? Look at it. It's look at the file size. 25 megabytes. That would slow down the website like crazy. Now, there are a few things. Number one, how long is this video? This video is 10 seconds. So it's not long, but it's freaking large. It simply means that this video is either 4K quality or at least HD. So what do? I go and import it in my video editor in Windows. Video editor, there you are. I can go and import it here, and then I can save it in a 720p quality, in a lower quality, and then 25 megabytes will become 10 megabytes. Still, a small point. I do not suggest anybody to ever use videos as backgrounds because they are still large files. You know what I personally do? I turn my videos to GIF format. Because a GIF format, if a video is 10 megabytes, the same video turning GIF becomes 2 megabytes. It's much smaller. Again, it's another idea. There are a lot of tools you can use online here. For example, MP4 to GIF converter. I'm sorry, converter is not like that. Sherlock, really. Anyway, here, video to animated GIF converter. Trim your video, especially if it's a video that is going to loop. Then why would you want to post a video? It's freaking large. Go and make it a GIF that loops and upload it there. Done. If you have to have a video as your background, I suggest you to do one last thing. And that's, we are done with optimization of content. When you are editing your page, if you want to import a video, now you are, come on, man, load. You can import a video. You can upload a video to your own website and show it from there. Or you can load it from a link. Let me go here to edit. I will be using the backend just to finish it faster, just to show you, but I'm using Divi in this case, or any theme for that matter allows for that, makes no difference. If you have a theme that doesn't allow you to import videos from a URL, change your theme. Yeah, just as simple as that. So let's say, do you remember I have a section, the blue section, the first one. I want to set a background for this. I can go here, go to background, select the video, add background video, and here I have insert from URL. So I have two options. Option one, I can upload the video, which slows down the website quite a lot. Or I can import it from somewhere else like YouTube or something else. Now, YouTube is not a good idea because YouTube plays ads. So you don't want people to see somebody else's ad on the background of your hero section on your homepage. That's like the craziest thing you can do. But Vimeo is a good option, or any sort of privatized video hosting service. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be paid, just as long as it doesn't have ads on it. There you go. You can insert from URL. So if you have videos for your backgrounds, go this way. If you have videos for anything on your website, go this way. Bear in mind, they still slow down your website a bit. Okay, and we're going to talk about that, why it can slow down your website in just a second with just redirection and HTTP requests, but it's still 10 million times better than uploading a video to your actual website. Last thing, when you're done with whatever job you're doing, come back before you log out of your website. Even if you're using ClickFunnels or Wix or anything, makes no difference. Go to your media section, delete the things that you do not need. Keeping files, keeping extra plugins, keeping extra images, videos, they're just absolutely pointless. Even 1 kilobyte is 1 kilobyte. Make sense? Right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Now, and by the way, just to answer the question, can those platforms that are like, I don't know, Infusionsoft or anything, can they slow down because of content? Oh yeah, absolutely. They can, very much. They do optimization, but sometimes they don't do a very good job. Lise, sorry, go ahead.
Sherlock, okay, I don't have this right now, but I know somebody who has, like, instead of her, instead of writing her blogs, she puts a video in the blog section.
Okay.
She has tons and tons of videos.
Mhm.
Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? And look at this. Look at it. Do you remember my posts when I showed it to you? The same thing. Like I've been experimenting with different types of blog posts for a while, for at least maybe 3 years now. Just as I want, because my personal understanding is that, like, and I still believe it, people have turned lazy. People don't read. I included, me included. I don't read. If there is a video, I prefer to watch the video. Right? Which one do you prefer to do? Read the book of like a novel, or watch the movie? Well, a few people say the book, but most people answer the movie, because it's more graphic, it's easier to remember, it's more memorable, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's why I did the same thing. Like I created a series of video blog posts, but every single one of these, if you look at them, you will see that, yes, I have text, but the video is not from my server. The video is from YouTube.
Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead and have it. Why not? It doesn't matter. Again, I do repeat, even YouTube videos slow down your website, even though they are not on your website, because of the HTTP requests, which we will talk about in a second. But it's still 10 million times better than uploading it to your own website. Imagine you have a video that is 1.5 hours. WordPress doesn't even allow you to upload that to your website. Maximum file size to be uploaded onto WordPress is 80 megabytes. If it's anything more than 80 megabytes, you will need to store it separately outside WordPress. You need to store it on your hosting or on another cloud or something, and then share the link there. That's your only way.
A question, Sherlock.
Yes, sir.
You're able to do this for videos. Can you do this for text plus photo blog posts, or do you just tend to keep that within your your own website instead of
What do you
posting
mean?
it somewhere else, like YouTube, for example, for videos?
I
They're saying
didn't
you can-
catch that again. Could you say again?
So you're saying for videos, you can let a third party host it, like
Yeah.
YouTube. For file compression, for making your website
Yeah.
perform faster. Can you do that as well for like just blog posts? Like you click a link, it goes to another place, so it doesn't
can
slow
do
your
it.
website down?
You can do it on everything. Now,
Okay.
there are a couple of tricks that I'm going to tell you at the end of this class, but
Okay.
one of them would be, do you remember actually something we talked about last session, that you look at the website and it looks like one website, but it's actually two of the pages are from this website, two other pages are from that website?
Yeah. Yeah.
It really depends how much content you have. If it's only one image and a blog post body content, then no, just put it on your own website, because the request that your website needs to make to fetch that information takes longer than loading it from your own server.
Oh, but once
Okay.
you have like 100 or more blog posts, for example.
Doesn't matter, because each
Oh,
blog
okay.
post is a separate unit. And then that blog post is only 4, 5, 6, 10 paragraphs of text, which do not slow down the website at all, as long as
Okay.
you're using WordPress, and maybe 1 or 2 images. So that's fine. I'm talking about larger content files that slow the hell down of everything. And this is like, again, I always, every example I gave you here was with Divi. But the reality is that Divi has negative points as well. One of them would be when you have large files, Divi slows down quite a lot. So that's why one of the maintenance things that I teach people, I'm going to tell you right after here, is actually cleaning up Divi itself every now and then. And I will show you how. So let's get there. So now that's, let's say, all right, Sherlock, I cleaned up my images, everything's smaller, but it's a little faster. It's not much faster. Yeah, because you know what? There is one more image that we need to work on, and that is the image, the overall image of your website. That's something we call caching. So what is this? Caching is when you tell your server that, hey, this is my website. I'm not going to change it for a while. I promise. Can you do me a favor? Can you take a snapshot of my website? And every time somebody asks for my website, send the snapshots for them to look at it until my website actually loads. And that's what exactly caching is. Okay. So what's caching? In short, cache is an easy to load snapshot of your pages stored on your server. Okay, on the front end of your server. Go back to session 1 file that we created. If you remember, we talked about how servers work, that it's a loop. Okay, it makes first it makes a request to name server, it comes back, then it makes a server to the local DNS and comes back, then it makes a request. There are a lot of requests happening. So until that computer, the client computer, finds your website, then there are still a lot of many requests that need to be made, going and coming. The example of my dad going to shop and buying groceries and coming back, 10 million of those need to happen until all of your content appears on one person's screen. So caching is sort of bypassing part of that by feeding people an already existing image of the website. By the time the human eye gets to see the first screen and comprehend that the website has loaded, the rest of the content has loaded as well. So then when you start scrolling, you're actually looking at the real website. But the first thing that you see up there, that's just an image. Has it ever happened to you? You load the website, and if the moment it loads, if you click on something, it doesn't work. Has it happened to you? If, let's say, on Tech Master Academy, I have a button right there and on the front page. Okay. Now I deleted the cache on this website for a demo today, but I will show you. If this website was cached and I was ready, I wanted to do a test. I'm going to leave my mouse cursor here and refresh. If the website is cached, the moment the button appears, if I click on it, it doesn't work, because that's not really a button. That's only an image that I'm clicking on. So that's the reason. Now, nobody does that. Nobody's crazy enough to do that, but I was always curious. But so I am crazy enough to do that. So I did that, and I saw, oh, it doesn't work. Wow, what are the odds? So that being said, we need to create cache on whatever, no matter what website we have. We need to create cache to make sure people can have a fast experience. There is a huge note about caching. Caching is one of the elements that every website needs to have, and it's one of the elements that can break every website. easily. Why is that? Depending on what your website is and what elements it has, you may be able or not be able to cache certain pages. Let me give you an example. Again, I say caching is an image, right? Caching is something that and then when you as a user see a website that is cached, your computer will download that cache. And next time it will load the same thing. So imagine I have a website that has a membership section. Do I want everybody to see the login information of the first person who logged in? No. So I can't even cache this page. It's impossible because it has a form on it. Even worse, can I cache my sales pages, my sales forms that are that are doing, let's say, payment processing or whatever? Can I cache those? Hell no. Look at this. Like, let's say this page, yes, I can cache it and I will cache it. Absolutely, because it doesn't have anything that can break. But this one, it has a lot of CSS and coding and specifically card numbers and everything else. No, I cannot cache this. So be careful and do your own research. Make sure you do your research before you touch the caching on your website. But in short, there are a few softwares or plugins that pretty much respond well to every website out there. One of the best overall caching plugin is WP Rocket. Not a question. It's a premium thing. No, I am not affiliates with them. No, because I'm not another academy. But no, what? I didn't say anything. But I actually bought, this is one of the first tools I bought with money. I paid for it. I hate paying for things if I don't have to. If there's a free version, I use the free version just because it's fun. But this was so good, I was convinced to pay money out of my own pocket to buy it. And I love it every day. Reason, WP Rocket doesn't just cache your website, it also optimizes your website, your content, images. It does all of those. So I will still give you a free version for this, but remember, if you want to get caching, if for a full-on caching and speed experience, buy this one. It's worth it. If you're like, no, I don't have that much, I don't have an e-commerce website, I don't have logins or stuff, I just have a regular infographic website, but I want it to be fast and I don't want to waste money on it. Good. Go ahead and install WP Fastest Cache. It's still to this day, I use this on most of my websites, most of my client websites. It freaking works. Like, it makes your website so fast, your eyes would pop out. Seriously. If you optimize your content properly and set up WP Fastest Cache properly as well, which I will show you in a second, what exactly it means to set it up, you don't need anything else. This free thingy, it does all the job for you. If you have high content size, and you must have high content size, then there is an actual plugin for this purpose, Lightspeed Cache. So my favorite plugins are no good for very high content size. What do I mean? Let's say you are a graphist, you're a graphic artist. You have portfolio, and your portfolio must have high resolution. You're a graphic artist. You cannot put crappy, low quality image up there, right? So unwantedly, you will have high file sizes. This is a plugin for you. And if you have a little bit of headache like me and you want to play around with HTML5 and JavaScript, if you have a coded feature, if you have a tool, a custom tool that has been coded into your WordPress website, which, yes, it is obviously possible, then don't use any of these. Number 1, 2, 3 can break your website in a heartbeat. You have another one, W3 Total Cache, which is the caching for programmers. That is what you need to use. So let me give you a better example for this. If you have a website with a custom coded membership, you need this. Absolutely. you have this file in your in our shared folder, make sure you take a look at these. So before I go to add expires headers, first, is the idea of caching clear? If yes, give me a thumbs up. Yep, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, let's take a look at this one, the easy one. Now, WP Fastest Cache has my favorite kitty cat on it, Cheetah. It's a free website. It's a free plugin. It has a premium version, which gives you many features, but even the free version does the job for us. So now let's take a look at this. On this website, I have not installed any plugins per se. So I'm going to just quickly show you how to set up WP Fastest Cache. And then obviously the same concepts apply to every other plugin that you're using. So I'm going to go add new. Let's go WP Fastest Cache. Install it. You see, there's a lot of plugins like this. Something we are going to talk about today is WP Optimize, which is going to save your life quite a bit, tiny bit, but yeah. So activate WP Fastest Cache. Good job. We have the kitty cat down here. So if you, no matter what plugin you're using for caching, there are certain things that you need to do. Number one, enable caching, of course, because caching is actually, cache is a folder, has its own folder on your server. Like I said, it's a snapshot, and these snapshots are saved in a certain folder. So by doing this, you're actually creating that folder, okay? The folder doesn't exist by default. Preloads. What are preloads? It means that your server, this software, acts as a human being and goes and basically what we call, the term is crawling, crawls through all of your content and makes sure that all of your content loads at least once, so your caching is complete. So when a user wants to come and see your website, and that user is the first person to see your website after you created your cache, they instantly see the fast cached version. So that's preload. That's always a good idea to turn it on. Do I need to turn it on for caching? No, not necessarily. If you have membership website, preloading is not a good idea. So right now I don't. I can select, in this case, I can select which page to preload. And that is the next point I wanted to make. When we say somebody's website is fast, we are not talking about all of their websites. We're talking about their landing page. We're talking about their home page, the first page that opens when people enter the domain. So if preloading, I need it, but it's going to break my other pages, but my homepage is a homepage, it doesn't have anything specific on it, it doesn't have a payment form or something, then preloading is actually on my homepage is a good idea. Perfect. Logged in users. If you have a membership website, I do suggest you to talk to a web designer about this. It's really depending on what software, what plugin you are using for your membership. This could be a good or a bad idea. It says, don't show the cached version for logged in users. Now, George, do you remember a couple of times you told me that my content page was not working on TechMaster Academy, and I told you I was experimenting with different caching softwares. This was the item that was causing it. Okay, so every time I activated this, I said, no, I want people to see the updated version, the logged in users like you, when you log in, I want you not to see the cached version, but the live version. It would actually break my page. So that's when I realized WP Fastest Cache was not the best option for my website. So I decided to go back to install WP, what was it? Geez, Rocket. And that is working perfectly. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure you know what you're doing with this. If you're not sure, talk to your web designer. Mobile devices. Don't show the cache version for desktop to mobile devices. That's always a very good idea because different mobile devices have different screen sizes. You don't want the same desktop version to be sent to your mobile because we don't know what your mobile is going to do. Some mobiles automatically switch it to mobile view, but some older cell phones, if somebody is using a Sony Ericsson, whatever, then they're going to see some crap on their website. They're not going to see anything. You're going to see some white space. New post and update posts. That's basically an option to clear your cache every time you post something new. So to delete that snapshot and create a new one. I personally do it manually every time I update my website, so I don't really do them, but it's a good idea to say, hey, you know what? Every time I post a new page or something, clear all of my cache. Or every time I update the post, clear that the cache of that post or that page. That's a good idea. And something that I wrote here, but I didn't talk about it, and that is minification. All the styling that you give to your website creates files for itself as well. Do you remember we talked about CSS, custom style sheet? CSS files slow down your website as well. The example, just to, as a reminder, the example that I gave you was a difference between a notepad and Microsoft Word. Do you remember? Notepad only and only has text. There is no font size, there's nothing. There's no shades, there's nothing you can do. This is basic editor. But something like Microsoft Word is a CSS editor. Why? You can write the same sentence, but you can go ahead and do all of these. What you're adding is simply styling. You see, styles. There you go. Let's make it like this. This is called CSS. Now, right now, what you're looking at, when you save this file, look at the size of this. You can actually do that. File. Remember what we wrote, Sherlock is ugly, and I'm going to make it larger and change the font and everything. Okay. And let's save this. If you, we don't have time for that, but this is what I'm saying. If you save this file and look at the file size, it's going to be, let's say, 50 kilobytes. If you write the same sentence as a notepad and save it, you look at it, it's 2 kilobytes. That gap of size, that's for styling. Now, the same thing applies. No, don't save that. Thank you. The same thing applies to your caching and to your website. All we do on websites is styling. So no wonder a lot of our website, what is the word for it? Belly comes from its custom styling, right? So that is why we minify them. We say, hey, you know what? All the coding that we have done, number one, the coding that we have done to create this website, the WordPress itself, all the plugins that are installed, go ahead and minify them. Just like that sponge, go ahead and press it and get rid of all the excess space. What does it mean? In a normal code, if you use just write a CSS code or something, you see that you write 2 words, they press enter. They write 3 other words, they press enter. 4 other words, they press enter, because they want human eye to be able to read it. Computers don't need that. When you minify, it puts all of the codes in one line. So it's the fastest possible way to read it. The same thing with CSS. You can go ahead and minify your custom styling. You can even combine your CSS files and create one file for all of your custom styling. That being said, be careful. If you want, test this first. Do this, submit, go check your website. If you check every single page, if everything is working well, perfect. If you see some things are not working well, come back and turn it off. It can potentially break your website. Combine JavaScript. If you have a regular website, like a normal website, somebody like Sherlock or Terran made for you somewhere, then if you do this, it will break your website. I guarantee you. This combined JavaScript is mainly for fully custom coded. Let's say somebody coded your website with Python. This is for those guys. So don't even worry about this. If you go to your own website and you see that this is active and your website is working, it means your web designer was being really patient and they went and actually added all of your custom queries to your database, blah, 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 doesn't matter. Be careful with this. Again, when you're combining CSS and JavaScript, if you decide to use these to speed up your website, do it, submit, go test your website in incognito mode, again, I repeat, in incognito mode. Every time you want to test your website, you test it like that. If it works, perfect. If it doesn't work, get rid of them. So what else? gzip. Do you remember we talked about gzip? There we go. What it is saying is that if I activate this, this plugin will compress my files as well. But like I said, first of all, gzip needs to be activated on your server. So there are a few things you can do. When I'm done with this, I will show you how to check is it enabled or not. You can actually check it. But that's the meaning of gzip. It's always a good idea to leave it on absolutely. And finally, browser caching. If you remember, I said your website creates the cache and it puts it in front of your server. Every time a computer wants to read your website, it looks at that cache first. When you enable browser caching, you say, hey, you know what? Allow people's computers to download this cache. So next time it loads even faster. So most of my images will not load from my website. It will load from my user's computer. What's faster than that? Nothing, right? If you work or live in Europe, be careful. This is illegal. This is what we call cookie. This is a cookie. You will be placing a cookie on somebody's computer. Have you ever heard cookie? Not cookie, but that cookie. This is that cookie. What you're doing, a cookie is any piece of information that your website compresses and places on people's computer for a follow-up action. Now, cookies are usually used for marketing. They put a cookie there so they remember that you have visited their website again. So next time you want to visit their website, they say, hey, do you remember when we talked about this? And you're like, how do you know? There is a cookie on your computer. So this is the same thing. You will be putting a cookie on somebody's computer to say, hey, do you remember the cache we talked about? This is the same thing. So it goes faster. And finally, you can submit, go ahead and test your pages. The first run of your website after you cache your website could still be a little slow, but afterwards it should be right on money. I said I delete my cache manually. Yes, every plugin has a delete cache section, which says you can clear all cache or you can delete cache and minify it CSS and JavaScript. That's the option I go with every time I want to clean up everything. All good? Right on. So go and actually check your website to see if it is using any caching plugin. Front-end builders, Wix, everything else, they have inbuilt caching, which sometimes do not really work with, let's say, membership options. So before you select a platform, WordPress or non-WordPress, if you are thinking of creating something that has extra features like e-commerce, like cache, like membership and everything else, double check with a web developer, someone, just a quick consultation, see if Wix, for example, can do it for you. Because I have seen membership websites on Wix where people could not log in at all. So be careful with that. All right, now that we're done with this, we're almost done with most of it. I wanted to quickly say, oh, I forgot to say, I said clean up a Divi. If you remember, I mentioned that. It's about the same thing. Divi, if you're using Divi or whatever theme you're using, they can, and most of them do, keep their own version of caching of your styles. So in case of Divi, I'm going to Builder, Advanced, and you see that it says clear CSS file, static CSS file. If you clear this, it's getting rid of all the cached version and it will start creating new files for yourself. So if you, by any chance, ever make changes on your website is still slow or you don't see the changes, clear your caching, clear your CSS, go to your browser, go to your actual browser, search cache, clear your cache, cached images and files. Do not clear your cookies because you will be logged out of all websites. Your information will not be deleted, but you will be logged out. So if you don't, So be careful. If you're clearing your cache, clear images, cached images and files. That's the only thing you would remove, unless you really know what you're doing, right? Be careful with that. That being said, my friends, let's move on to the final sections. Add expires headers. That's one more thing. If you look at GT metrics, for example, or even ping them, it will tell you add expires headers. Now I have added expires headers. That's why I got a better score. What is expires headers? As the name suggests, it's an expiry date on the cache that you created. You're basically, if you have a website that you know you're not going to change anything on for the next year, you can add a 1-year expiry date to your cache. So your server doesn't even try to clear cache to import new content. So it will speed up your website even more. A lot of softwares, caching softwares do this automatically, but if you are interested, this is the plugin I used on some of my websites, just to add expiry header. You can add this expiry date to JPG files, videos, or everything else. So it will help speed up your website even more. As you can see, it again uses the same gzip tool on your server. I repeat, expiry header, not 100% important. It helps a lot after you have created your cache. So if you have not optimized your website yet, if you have not cached your website yet, doing this is a waste of time. Yep. I'm going to stop here for a second. Guys, do you have any question about caching or expires headers? If yes, go ahead and ask, and I will explain that part for you. If not, give me thumbs up. Okay, right on. Now, let's make your life a little easier. Sherlock, do I need to use all of these tools? It's difficult. Yes, because you need to, I as a web developer, I use the tools for the specific purpose that I want. So I'm also old fashioned. If I want to take a photo, I take a camera. I don't take a smartphone. If I want to record a video, I take a camcorder and I record it. All right. This is the same approach that a web developer takes. But you're like, but I just want to have that smartphone, you know, that does everything for me. Can I just have that to maintain my website? Yeah. Welcome to WP Optimize. It's not a very old plugin, but it's one of the best things I've seen. It's a must-have on every website. Even if you install it, you use it for 15 minutes and you uninstall it, the effect that it has on your website is amazing. Why? This originally was a caching plugin, and then they started to add other features to it. For example, they started to add image optimization to it, image compression and zipping to it, minifying CSS, HTML, and everything else to it. This is such a complete tool that it also goes beyond your website, goes to your hosting, goes to your server, checks your databases and organizes them. How many of you have used, how many, if you are a Windows user, again, sorry, Lise. How many of you have used optimized drives? Disk defragmenter. What it does is that it defragments your hard drive. It's all the stuff that are scattered all around the place. It brings them all together and organizes them. This is the software on your Windows that does it for your computer, and you must do it every month. If you haven't done it, it will take 4 or 5 hours on your computer if you haven't done it before, but make sure your computer does it. Okay? It speeds up your computer a lot. Likewise, on your website, WP Optimize does the same thing. So it's the best all-in-one tool I can give you to optimize your website. There's a small note. As I said, they started WP Optimize as a caching plugin. Last time I used it, everything worked compression worked, minification worked, everything works like a charm. Caching didn't work on my system. I don't know why. And I say, the caching didn't work on my system. So I repeat, just like I said earlier, make sure you research your caching plugin. Make sure it is compatible with the tools that you're using. Now, both of, for example, Liz, George, you both have your own personal websites. I know your websites, and your websites don't have any specific tools that might clash with any caching plugin. So feel free to use whatever that has a better result for you. But if later you're gonna have a landing page for something that has a sign up sheet or a membership sheet or whatever that it has, do a little bit of research. If you decided to use, for example, Ultimate Member for your membership platform or membership as your membership plugin, which caching plugin is the best choice for that? It's you're like, oh, I don't care about any of this. You're like, yeah, you should, because you have a business that is running stuff online. You should care about these things. Again, do you prefer to take a taxi and go to work every day, or just buy the damn car for yourself once and just get done with it? Right? Option 2. Or buy one of these and go and have fun. Motorcycle. You're not motorcycle people, are you? I love it. Yeah. I almost killed myself 3 times.
Car person.
Yeah, I am a car person, but bikes are fun too, especially when you fly. They're even more fun. Yeah, true story. I have both legs are broken because of motorcycles. Okay. Now let's bring it all together. Let's say, sure, like I have tested all of these. So will they improve my speed? Yes. Here's a confession. When I made my Sketch Bros Studios website, the first time I tested it, my loading time was 14 seconds. I repeat, 14 seconds.
Oh, that's too long.
Yeah, it's an eternity. Now I'm at 1.49 seconds. And how did I get from 14 seconds to 1.49 seconds? I used the exact tools that I told you. So if you do it correctly, if you optimize your content properly, if you go through the same process I told you, starting with content optimization and going to CSS and everything else, by the time you're done with adding expires, headers, and caching, your website should be at least 4 or 5 times faster, if not 10 times. Okay? So make sure you, I'm sorry, I'm looking back here. My crazy cat is under the carpet. It's like, he's going all over the place. So the last item, and that's something that you can never really fix. Is your website. If the more content you have, the more HTTP requests you make. What is this? Do you remember I said that even if you import videos from YouTube, it will slow down your website? It's because that's an HTTP request, or it's basically a request of communication between your website and another website. Basically, if somebody is watching a video that is on YouTube, but you have imported onto your WordPress website, if somebody is watching that, this is the process that is happening. Are you ready? His computer is, it's just a long story. His computer makes a request to the local ISP, and the ISP makes a request to the DNS, and DNS comes back to the ISP, ISP comes back to the computer goes back to ISP, to compress it. The compressed version is this. That computer makes a request to your website makes a request to YouTube, gets the stuff, the stuff goes back to your website sends it to the person. These are all requests that can slow down your website. 54 requests, that's a very good number. I am actually like, mwah, self 5, good job. 54 is actually very good. Usually websites are at 80, 90, 100 something requests. This is the main thing that slows down your website. The reason we minify CSS is that it reduces your HTTP request. The reason we try to have as many images as we can on our George, to answer, do you remember, to answer your question, I said this would be faster if you hosted it on your own server, because you wouldn't be making HTTP requests if it is on your own server. But if it is somewhere else, you would be making HTTP requests. And this is the killer for a website. So you should, in the end, find the balance. What things can I optimize and keep on my own server? And which things are too large for optimization? And they will slow down my website if I upload them to my server. You need to find the balance there. So as you might say, oh, but I already have a website. Somebody has made it for me. I don't need to know this. Yeah, you don't need to know this for the content that you already have, but you need to know this for the content that you will be adding to your website later. Right? Last but not least, my friends, there are certain things that you cannot control, like DNS. Yes, you can, but with spending money. Or SSL. Right now, both of these are taking quite a bit of time. My DNS is wasting 34.7 milliseconds. My SSL is spending 37.6 milliseconds. It's milliseconds. I know it's not a lot, but it still takes some time to happen. So there are paid premium options that speed these up. Both my DNS and SSL are free. If you buy an actual good, proper, well-written SSL, this time can come down to 2 milliseconds, which is a lot. Remember that every time that your website is making a request, it's also making an SSL request. Every time that your website is making a request, it's also making a DNS request. So it doesn't happen one time. It happens 5,000 times just for one image to load. So best example would be here on GTmetrix. If you look at why slow, it tells you User Content Delivery Network, CDN. A CDN is a privatized DNS, is a privatized name server for your own hosting. Too much jibber jabber. In short, using the tools that we talked about today, you can optimize your website without spending a cent. To make it lightning fast, you need to at least get a CDN for yourself. Okay. You can, if you are with GoDaddy, go and the CDN is known as premium DNS. You can go on GoDaddy. You can actually, I'm sorry, I really wanted to show you this, but my cat again. he goes inside my drawers and he doesn't let me open my drawers. He's like, yeah, I will scratch you if you come close. Anyway, go to GoDaddy or anywhere you buy your domains, and you will see it. They sell. Oi, that's my headphone cable. Don't pull it. You will see that they also sell premium DNS. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's not set up. Of course, it's not set up. Let me just do. Where's my products or something? Okay, domains. Let's go to DNS from one of them. 604 referrals DNS. And if you would like, you can actually buy, you can purchase, because my DNS is not with GoDaddy right now, they can't sell me. But if you have it, if you have your domains here, you can purchase premium DNS. So it's not something you would need to do. No, you only do it if you're Mark Zuckerberg, then go ahead and do it. There you go. And if you are Mark Zuckerberg, hi, I love you. Hire me. I'm talented. True story. Okay, guys, last thing. We have already discussed this once, but just as a reminder, when people say my website is broken, most people, no offense, but most people don't even understand how a website works. So how do they know it's broken? They're not referring to the website itself. They're referring to how people see their website. Okay, so if everything is onto each other, people say, oh, my website is broken. Do me a favor, pick up your cell phone and go to 604referrals.com, our test website. I want to quickly show you our desktop version. Go on cell phone and check it. and tell me what's your reaction when you see the go, come on. Hi, George, cell phone up, go, 604 referrals. On my desktop, you can see this is the desktop version, which looks pretty sexy. Go and check it on your cell phone. How do you see it? Okay, I'm listening, guys. Is it working? Is it beautiful? Or is it like everything's onto each other?
I'm getting there.
You're getting there. So it's really slow, right?
Kind of slow.
Yeah,
That looks
that's your,
organized.
that's
Looks
your,
good.
does it? It shouldn't.
Oh, the text is kind of almost on top of each other.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can see what's, yeah. Few issues.
Uh-huh. That's your homework, my friend. So you see, here's the thing. When somebody looks at this, let's say this is your website. If somebody looks at this from their cell phone, first of all, it takes an eternity to load.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm looking at it and the button is, oh, there is an image on top of the button. I cannot click the make money now button anymore.
So none of the images or any of that loaded on my screen. It just has a
Exactly.
search bar.
So this is what people mean when they say website is broken. Now this website, this is your homework. You're going to find the issues with it and tell me how to fix it. That's your homework. All right. But this website is not really broken in that sense, but because it looks wonky, because the device view is not set, people say it's broken. So you want to test your website not on your own computer, because you see things based on your own settings. I don't know what kind of computer you have. I don't know what kind of monitor you have. I don't know what kind of graphic adapter you have. If your computer is running a 4K display and you're a gamer, so your resolution, you put your resolution on max 3,490 pixels by 2,000 something pixels. When you look at the website, if you are a 4K user, when you look at the website, it will look like this. Look at this. Look at this empty. Look at this. Right?
Mm.
If you are a HD screen user, then you see it like this. But now, if you are if you're an HD screen user on a laptop, Windows automatically gives you a zoom of 125%. Did you know this? Let me show you. First of all, do you like my background photo? I know, right?
Mm.
Yeah. I wish. No, anyway.
That's in your garage?
Is
Not
that an
funny.
old Supra?
Yeah, that's a wow. Yes, it's a Mark IV Supra, built souped up. This is actually from a company in Vancouver. They
Oh,
souped up this car. The car was up for retail at 135K.
oh, I know this. It's by
cre-
that Japanese guy.
it creates 1,600 horsepower.
Yeah, Japanese guy did this, I think.
1,600 horsepower.
What? It's like a rocket. It's amazing.
Okay, guys, I am so sorry. Just can you excuse me for 1 second? I have a sort of an emergency to get to here. 1 second. Sorry, emergency resolved. My cat was trying to scratch the hell out of everything. My wife opened the door and he went out. All right, now cut and edit this part. Anyway, if you go here, go to display settings. Okay, I'm going to bring it on this screen. I have two screens so you can see. I have two screens. My screen one is my actual laptop screen. I'm using a Lenovo Legion HD screen 1920 by 1080. You see that automatically Windows puts it at 125% zoom. Comparatively, my second screen, which is the screen you are looking at, which is the screen I use for my web design, that is HD as well. That is 1920 by 1080, similarly, but it's at 100%. So I design on this monitor, but when I want to test it, I test it on this monitor because most people have this setting. All right. Most people are running 1920 by 1080 at a zoom of 125%. So you might say, but how the should I know this? Well, there's a solution. We talked about this. Yeah, I know. At least that was your question. If I have given you this link once before, I'm giving you again Responsive Design Checker. Now, Responsive Design Checker is a website that simulates a computer. You can go ahead and enter 5 requests. Okay, yeah, whatever. Go ahead and enter your website here. Go ahead and click go. You can test it on different devices and different sizes. What we are looking at right now is pretty much at that 125% zoom. You see that by default, it gives me 1400 by 700. It doesn't give me, it gives me 720p. It doesn't give me 1080p, right? Because still, most people are using screen sizes smaller than HD. Now, I want to see how exactly it looks like on HD. Good. 1920 by 1080. Go. Now you see instantly, do you see how much more space there is? So this is how you can test. This is how I designed my website. Somewhere between this and the 7 something, whatever that we just saw. Come and test your website and see how other people are seeing your website. You can actually navigate from the same setting. You can navigate to different pages and test it. Actually test it, work with it as if you're on somebody else's computer. You're done with this. Oh, wow, Sherlock, that's so cool. I know, but does it look cool on tablet as well? Well, let's see. What kind of tablet? What do your clients use more? Well, if my clients use Asus, I will hug them, but none of them do. But pretty much if you look at it, every iPad is using the same screen size. So, well, I'm just going to go with, except for iPad Pro. Well, if you have iPad Pro, you're rich. Hi, I love you. I'm going to go with iPad mini. All right, so on iPad mini, it looks like this. All right, yeah, that works out for me. Perfect. How does it look on iPad Pro out of curiosity? Let's take a look at that. Oh, so they actually see sort of my, they see my, whatchamacallit, they see my desktop view, but the smaller version, you see that automatically it changed to 1366 by 1024. What about cell phones? Okay, which one? When your web designer says, oh, we test your website on different platforms, me included, it doesn't mean that I have one of each platform and test it for you. Well, I actually do because I'm crazy. But in reality, everybody uses this website. Yeah, I have I test website, physical test. I do it on iPhone 5 because most websites do not support iPhone 5 anymore, except for this one. iPhone 4 and 5 were smaller, if you remember. Now iPhones are the size of my window. But anyway, and I also tested, so I own the 2 weird screen sizes. This is Galaxy S8, which has a narrower screen on Android. And this is iPhone 5, whatever it is. I don't care, it's iPhone, whatever, which is the smaller than usual screen size. Everything else I test here. So yes, test your websites for device view. Absolutely test your website if you're building a page with ClickFunnels. They sometimes drop the ball. They're supposed to do this automatically. It sometimes doesn't do that. Test it. Sometimes on mobile view, you see that your platform mistakenly, Sony Xperia. Who the hell uses that? Anyway, Samsung Galaxy. Sometimes you look at your mobile view and like right now I'm seeing, oh, this text is too large. I should make it smaller. But sometimes you actually see that something, a piece of content, you have a duplicate of that, which you didn't see on desktop view, but you can see on your mobile view. So yes, And yes, please test your website on your device views. Good. This is what people say, what people mean when they say it's broken. And the last thing that can break, and we're done. We have already talked about this, so I'm just browsing through them very quickly. Broken links. Yes, you can test your website for broken links. You can go out and see, do I have broken links? How? Last session, we talked about one sort of it, because there are two different types of links. There are inbound links, or links that come to our website from somewhere else. And there are outbound links, links that leave our website to somewhere else. Now, that being said, inbound links, that's basically checking your SEO. Other websites that are sending traffic to you, right? We talked about this on your SEO. Do you remember that, right? Please say yes if you do. Yeah, okay, good.
Yes,
So that means we can only use SEO tools to check our inbound links. There are two ways. The more accurate but hard way. Read this. It's not, honestly, the inbound links, if they are broken, they don't really matter, because those people who are maintaining those websites, they will find it and fix it. You don't have to worry about it. But there is a way. I wrote it here for you. You can go through Google Search Console. We talked about it last session that you need to add your website as your property to your Google account first, and create your business account second. Third, go to Google Search Console. You can actually, Google scans the whole internet and tells you which websites are sending traffic to your website, which ones are working, which ones are broken. There's also a paid version. You can, again, we mentioned this tool last time on our SEO session. You can go to ahref.com. It's a paid option, but they as well will scan the whole world, online world, to find links to your website. Outbound links, however, are actually much easier to test. If you have, obviously, which you should, as we talked about in the last session, you have outbound links sending people to other websites or your affiliates or your partners. You want to make sure that these links are working. If you're having redirections inside your website, you want to make sure it's working. There are a lot of tools. We call them broken links or dead links. So go on Google and search dead link checker or broken link test, and you will find a lot of them. This is the daddy of all testers. By the way, if you don't know who W3C is, don't worry about it. W3C is the company that created the internet. Just saying, it wasn't Microsoft. Yeah. So these are the owners of the internet. These are the daddies of the internet. W3C were people who suggested using HTML for creating web files. So Web 2 is thanks to these people. They have nicely created this free checklink tool. Go ahead and drop your file. I always suggest you to test your pages one at a time, not the whole website. Test one at a time. Go ahead and drop your links here. Go ahead and click check, and it will start testing. It will start crawling, as we said, which means it's going through your website both as a computer and as a human being. It's testing every link, it's testing every image, it's testing every single thing to see which ones open and which ones don't open. I'm not going to do this right now because it will take approximately 10 minutes for this to finish. But once it is done, it's underneath this box that you see here, and this progress bar that is going forward, it will give you the results. Take a look at the things that are mentioned as broken. Go ahead and test them yourself. Some of them might be things that you see, but you're like, I don't know what even that is. It says the file, for example, link sketchpros.com/XML3D4 hashtag whatever. If it's a link like that, it's only an operational link. You haven't created that. Don't worry about it. But if you see one of the links that you have inserted as marked as dead, go ahead and test it. So I shared this for you. Again, I'm going to let this run in the background so you can take a look at the results, but it's quite straightforward. It will tell you what links are broken. You can go ahead and address that. How often should you do this to maintain your website? I personally do it every 6 months, just like as I do it every 6 months with clearing my cache, with doing everything, optimizing my images. So sort of semi-annual maintenance thing that you need to do on your website. Doing all of these would take less than half a day for you, but it will make sure that everything that you have is tip-top. Comparatively, if you decide to hire someone to do this, if you decided to hire me, yes, I would like to offer you this, but I'm offering you this for a reason. I want to show you how much it costs if you hire someone to do this maintenance for you. I would charge you around, well, it depends how much work you have, but anywhere from $500-$600 to $2,500 for a half-day job. And what do I do in that half-day job? I optimize your website to speed up. I fix your SEO issues. I do everything that we discussed in this course. It wouldn't take more than 4 or 5 hours, but I don't tell you that it took me 4 or 5 hours. I will tell you it's going to take me a month, and then I'm going to charge you $2,500 for it. That's how our industry works. This is what I'm trying to teach in this course, that there are a lot of things that are not too complex, that are not too difficult, that no business owner is too busy to say, oh, I cannot spend 2 or 3 hours a month maintaining my business. Yeah, if you are having an enterprise with multiple websites and you have a huge team of 2,000 people working for you, of course you're not going to do that. But if you are a business owner like me, if you're a business owner like you, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a solopreneur, then our number 1 target is to make money. Our number 2 target is to save money. Doing these on a regular basis, semi-annually, every 3 months, or as frequently as you can, will check both of those boxes for you. Before I finish, my friends, congratulations. You are done optimizing all of your online business. If your online businesses, if your online platforms were not bringing you money, even though you were doing marketing, it's because you hadn't done any of the things we had talked about. User experience is everything. People want to come, not wait, come, land, see quickly what this is about, see the call to action, click for it, get some value out of it, receive some value through an automated system, and leave. They don't want to wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds for the website to load. They don't want to go to 10 different pages to download that freebie. They don't want to do anything. People don't want to do anything. We don't want to do anything either, right? So once I fix my website, hell no, I don't want to go back and fix it again, at least for another 6 months or something. So guess what? We need to do something. You need to back up your website. If you don't want to do it again in 2 weeks' time, when you are, I don't know, your hosting was with GoDaddy and GoDaddy caught on fire. All of your data is gone. Or your website broke. You fixed it and it was working fine, but now it's broken again. So here's my suggestion. You fix your website, you optimize it, it's running lightning speed, back up your website. Always. There are 2 ways to back up your website. There's a physical backup. That is the way I would suggest you to go with. It's not difficult. I've written the explanation for you. You can do it through cPanel. Generally, premium backup tools cost at around $40 a month. There are backup, even your own host, your hosting sells things like CodeGuard or other things. They charge you to back up your website. You don't have to pay for any of those. It's super easy. Simply go to your cPanel, go to the files section, click either backup or backup wizard. It makes no difference. It's the same shit. I click backup. I saw this. You can download a full website backup or your home directory. The backup that we need to keep our website running is only the home directory one. And guess what? When your website broke, go to the same place in your cPanel. You have a restore button. You click restore, you upload your backup, you're done. The whole process takes downloading it and uploading it together won't take 10 minutes. HostGator, my own hosting, charges $35 a month for backups. For what? Note, I have written this here for you as well, but I'm just saying it. A full website backup will download all of your databases and all the email accounts and everything that you have on your shared hosting, okay? The only problem, you cannot restore this. Only your hosting company can do this. So this is what I do. When I created my website and I was sure this is from now on, I'm not going to delete anything. I will be just adding more content. The bare bone of the website was set up and all my pages were working. I got a full website backup. And it's about 3 gigabytes. It's a lot. So it takes a long time. I keep one copy of that, but then every 3 or 6 months, I download my home directory just as a quick backup for myself. Too much work? Too difficult? Sure, there's a plugin. When there is a will, there's a plugin. There's a free plugin called Updraft Plus. It's from the same company that created WP Optimize. I love these guys. The same people who created this, they created this as well. And again, I am not their affiliate. I repeat, I swear to God, I'm not their affiliate yet. Anyway, as you can see, Updraft Plus is an amazing tool that allows you that will automatically back up your website, only your home directory, and uploads it to your cloud storage of selection. So you can connect your Google Drive to your Updraft Plus, and you can tell it, hey, Updraft Plus, back up my website every 2 weeks. Would I use this? Yeah, I use this on all of my client websites because my client websites generally don't have anything heavy on them. But if there is something heavy on them, if the content is really valuable, then you know what? Get a proper backup. Just do it like this. It's better. Why would you want to be at the mercy of a plugin, of a free plugin, when you can actually be sure that you will not be losing any content? Doing this, to be very honest, is much easier than setting up Updraft Plus. Much easier. This is 3 steps. Log into your cPanel, go to backup, click home directory. Done. As easy as this. Doing this is 8 to 9 steps, because just the integration of Updraft Plus with your Google Drive or whatever you're using is a long story itself. So there you go. But still, it is a good idea to have it as a backup sort of, just because it's not a heavy software. You can just put it in the corner, be it there. It's always active. So for any reason, if you needed a secondary backup, you have this. Make sense? All right. Guys, this is all you need to know as a business owner to be able to keep your business afloat and running. If now you're thinking at the last 6 weeks and you're like, heck, there was a lot of stuff, I still haven't done any of them, that's understandable. It takes time. It takes a lot of time for most people just to accept the fact that they were wasting their money. It takes a long time for people to accept that, oh, but I paid that guy this much. Yes, we talked about this. Internet evolves. Things change. I'm not going to blame people for saying, oh, well, they made a crappy platform for you. No, Yes, there are web designers who make shit. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but yes, there are a lot of us. But no, like at least I know you guys, and I know everybody who's around you. They do decent jobs. Like, I've seen how Terran works. I've seen how they're all very honest to God people doing a very good job. But still, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road, technology evolves every 5 minutes, not every 5 years. So you need to evolve with that. You have two options. Option one, again, go ahead and pay Sherlock $2,500 to tell you that he has worked on your website for a month while he has actually done it in half a day. Or learn and do this gradually along the way for yourself without them costing you even a cent. Go back to every single session that we had. None of the, I have offered you premium tools. Yes, but for every premium tool, I've given you 6 free tools. So go ahead and think about that. See what's the best fit for your business. Start doing it. And the first thing, considering that you already have platforms, start optimizing your SEO. Then get to optimizing your own website, the structure. This is your homework. Now, considering that this is the last session, I do understand that this coming Friday, and it's also Friday, nobody would come, but I'm still going to be here because I know if you're following this, you will have questions. So go ahead and do your homework if you can. I will be here on Friday. Come and ask your questions or share your questions in our Facebook support group. Number one, test and optimize your own website. And try to do it by November 13th. That's 3 days. Not the optimization part, testing part. Make sure you know all of the flaws of your website by November 13th. Come to me on November 13th or share it on your Facebook group, whatever you're comfortable with. I will give you the best solution for your issues if you don't already know it. So go ahead and test and say, hey, Sherlock, my website, this page and this page are working well, but this page for whatever reason is not working well and I cannot figure it out. I will audit your website for free as a thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I personally learned a lot when I was putting together my content that I was trying to transfer to you. I was like, holy crap, I never thought about it this way. So it was an amazing experience for me myself, but more importantly, I hope that it gives you something and helps you along the way to improve your business. So please test your website. If you can test and optimize, perfect, do it. Let me test your website after you have optimized it. If you don't have time to optimize it, at least test it. Test your content, test your speed, go and check your image sizes, check all of those. Come back on Friday. Let's talk about your website and I will tell you how to improve it. Second, this is your main part of homework. Okay. I made the page I made for you, which Caesar said that didn't even load on his device. Yes, is a broken page. It's a page with a lot of problems, not just one. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, go, there's one hidden problem, go and find it. No. There's a shit ton of problems there. Go ahead and find them. I don't want you to fix it. No, go ahead and search for errors, for issues, optimization issues, whatever, anything you can find, and share your results on our Facebook group. So quickly write, hey, I tested 604 referrals and this is what I found. Images are too large. This link doesn't work. That thing doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. Again, remember, even the tool that I gave you with W3C, the link checker, that only checks links. It doesn't check contact forms. It doesn't check email addresses that are on the body. Go ahead and test all of those yourself. If there is a contact form, go ahead and fill out the contact form. See what happens. Test your own website. Do the same thing. Go and fill out your own contact forms on your own websites. See if they still work. How do you know they're still working? Right? So Go ahead and check all of those, please. This number, no, even if number one, you don't do it, or you do it, you don't want to share your the issues that website, whatever, anything that it is, even if you don't do it, that's your website. I'm hoping to be able to give you something on the side. This is your main homework, and please, please, please do it and share it on your Facebook group. So then I can tell you which one, what other issues existed which you didn't see and you missed on them. Okay. Number 3 is not homework, but it's sort of a request. And if you think this course has taught you anything that can be helpful, I would appreciate it if you could introduce this course to somebody, a friend, a colleague, a partner, a contact who is putting their money into their money pit, into their website, which is not bringing them anything. I would like to talk to them. I would like to give them free consultation to say, hey, I'm going to audit your website for free. These are the issues I see. Now, if they want to join us on a course, or if they want to do anything else, no strings attached. But I would love to be able to show, because it's really getting on my nerve. I was at a meeting yesterday. Out of 18 people there, but when they were talking, I was going to each person's website separately. 16 of them had problems. Only 2 people had websites that were acceptable. So please, please, please introduce this course to a friend who is having issues with their online world, wherever it is. Even if it is something that doesn't correlate to this course, let's say even if it's social media, send them my way. At least I know somebody who can help them. All right. So even if it's not directly about the content of this course, please still send them my way. Like I said, am I trying to sell my course? Always, but more important than that is just to see, because I'm tired of seeing people with every month, oh, I paid $100 on my hosting, or another $100 on my hosting. Oh, I bought this. Oh, somebody said buy that. Oh, I bought that. And at the end of the year, how much money did you spend? $5,000. How much did you make? 5 cents. That sucks. Please, please introduce them. Now, also, if you would like to, because you're my first group, I would very much like you to send me a complete feedback. I would really, really, really appreciate it. Good things and bad things. Let me know what works and what doesn't work. And but higher than that, I would appreciate it if you could take a moment, and if I'm going to ask, I will send a message to all of you, but if you could, as this was my beta group, if you could write a testimonial for me for this course that I can place on my landing page for my actual course to come up, that is highly appreciated. Or really seriously, that is how you can help me develop this and make this better. So hopefully I can help more people actually realize where their money is going and how to drain the holes and how to improve and hopefully make more money out of it instead of just spending money on it. So please, 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 if you can, share it with as many people as you can. Please send me a testimonial. I will, if you could do a video testimonial, but if you can't, just a written testimonial would be more than enough. Thank you so much. And I have already offered you guys this, but I will offer it again. My course, I am hoping to expand it forever. It's going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. So I always welcome having affiliates work with me on this all the time, especially affiliates who are hands-on, working on their own platforms, working on their own businesses online. I'm sure you have a lot of, you know how difficult it is. So you also know a lot of people who have this, who are experiencing these difficulties. So if you would like to partner up on this as our affiliates and receiving referral fees for the referral of the course, and for people who sign up, please hit me up. Let's talk. I've revised everything. I'm finishing revising everything tonight. Now that our final instruction session is over, I can tidy up the website and make it ready for actual launch. But yeah, hit me up and I'd be happy. Let's talk. Just to give you an incentive, like right now, I have 2 or 3 affiliates who are helping me. develop this. And I am actually more than happy to. Hi, Randy. Sorry, I will be there with you in this 1 second. So, and we are basically working on a 30/70 or 40/60 sort of referral program. So hit me up and let me know how it goes. If you have no other questions, do number 4, have yourself a successful and thriving business. Thank you so much for your time. Please send me my testimonials and make sure you come here on Friday. and then start inserting. Insert your new keywords using your platform, like ClickFunnels, whatever, or your platform SEO module, or if you're using WordPress, using a plugin like Yoast or whatever that it is. And also go and add the tags and descriptions to all the images, update all the content as much as you can. Now, I know you cannot do all of this until Friday. Of course you cannot. So number 4, this is your homework until the day, knock on the wood, I hope you're with me for the next 200 million years, but you need to do number 4 until the day you die. Okay? So, but try to at least, I would love to be able to audit, now that we are only 2 or 3 people, I would love to be able to give you something, which after this course, I want to audit all of your content, that, because I don't write content for people. I used to, but then it's too difficult. So if you want, I can help you audit your website for your design and for your content, but in this case, mainly for your content. So you can go ahead and start fixing it. So next session, I can do that. My recommendation, take one of your pages, try to, after you found your keywords, try to overhaul the written content of at least one of your pages, so I can check it for you and tell you how good or how strong it is and what areas you can improve on. Last but not least, once a month, go and test your website for errors. Go on neilpatel.com, analyzer, whatever. Go and keep doing it. Like I said, keywords change, trends change, people change. Errors happen, things happen. Go and check it. And keep repeating this loop, my friends, until the day you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to retire. Sorry, my mouse, I dropped it. Keep doing it until the day you realize, oh, you know what? I want to retire myself, whatever. I'm sorry, I could not see your chats until now. My Zoom had locked out my chat box. Now that I stopped sharing, I can see it. So, Liz said, that's funny. That's one of the things I truly appreciate about you. Thank you very much. Yes, sort of, I guess. I lie too sometimes, Liz. Trust me, it's business. You sometimes have to. Not to you, but... you say, why would we need to change or update the SEO? I think now you have your answer. Good. Point well taken. Georgia said, will do, Charlotte. I need to rewatch this video. Yes, absolutely. And a lot of my clients actually ask me, hey, do you do SEO as well? And my answer is always no. And here's a reason. The only case when it makes sense to give your SEO job to someone to do for you is if they are running your business for you. If they are doing all of your marketing, if they are the people, if you are just the face of the business and then you have a team who is running your business for you, then yes, absolutely. It makes sense to hire a marketing company and pay them every month to keep doing your SEO, because it's too much work to keep up with it. But in reality, there is nobody in the whole world better than yourself to do SEO for yourself. Because you know best, honestly. You do know best when it comes to this one. In every other session, I tell you, hey, don't touch it, don't touch that. You don't know it. This one, you know it. I promise you. Just, it takes a little patience to sit down and find the correct keywords and do it the right way. So before I bring it to an end, fellas, do you have any questions? If you're good, please give me a thumbs up on your on your Zoom thingy. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're fine. Yes, good. Thank you. So guys, make sure that you do your homework and do not miss the next instruction session, which is when we are going to bring everything together. We are actually going to do a case study. We're going to look at a page that has bad SEO, that has bad design, that has broken links. We're going to find how to fix every one of these. I'm going to introduce tools that help you audit your website for the quality of your content, links, and everything else. So hopefully after that, you will be your business masters, and maybe you can also start helping your affiliates to take care of their own businesses. Thank you very much, guys. I shall see you next session.